I can admit when I'm wrong, and yeah, I messed up. A while back, I made a Christmas gift buying guide video, and as you let me know, I left some truly incredible sets off that list. So in today's video, we're going to be going through that, and I'm going to be taking all your feedback, and we'll be talking about those sets in this video. Also, LEGO literally just announced right before I sat down to film their Insiders Weekend, which is the weekend before Black Friday, aka this upcoming weekend sales, so we'll discuss that at the end and how that will affect this gift buying guide. Okay, let's get into it. So first off, I did not include any off-brand sets, and you let me know I should have. So here's one that I did in a members-only video that will be coming out very shortly. Nanoblocks is the brand, and obviously this is a Pikachu. Now I will say, this maybe isn't as stable as a LEGO set will be, and some parts can definitely break off pretty easily. However, it is really easy to fix, and it's not really that big of a hurdle for building. Also, I love that this is stylized in an entirely different way. This definitely feels very 8-bit to me, so if you like that style, you'll like it. Also, if you like Pokemon, you'll also really like these. I had someone mention Lumi bricks, so while I've never done these sets personally, I did see them online. They were in the bestsellers page, and they looked incredible. First, we have the Brick Art Gallery at $179.99 that has 3,400 bricks. The Book Cafe at $89.99 that has 1,718 bricks. And the Twilight Motel at $119.99 and it has 1,970 bricks. All of these kind of have a really good value, but that Brick Art Gallery's value is like insane. I will say that some of Lumi bricks looks very similar to Lego. I don't know Lumi bricks well enough to know if like they were copying Lego or Lego was copying them, or if it's just like a weird coincidence, but it does seem like a pretty good alternative. To explain this one, I have to take you on a little bit of a journey. So my last video, which wasn't meant to be part 1, but now is, was posted on November 1st. I want to discuss was posted officially on the 6th, but we knew pretty solidly this was coming out. I had also been on vacation and pre-filmed this video on October 20th, so the details were a little bit shakier then. I didn't include it because 1, the rumored price was a little high, and 2, I don't like talking about some of these until they're officially announced, but this definitely deserves a spot. It is the Star Trek USS Enterprise at $399.99 with 3,600 bricks. For the Star Trek fan in your life, this would be a great gift. I have seen some mixed reviews, but it seems like overall people really like it. Albeit at that price tag, it might be a little bit more of a group gift sort of thing, but I do think it's a great idea. In Tiago Canarino's USS Enterprise, he makes a small reference to the Rivendell in regards to how detailed both of these are, which leads me to my next set, Rivendell. Every single time I feel like I talk about sets or things I want, somebody always is like, have you ever tried Rivendell? You should try Rivendell. Why is Rivendell not on your wish list? This is on my list of sets that I definitely want. Rivendell is $499.99 and 6,167 bricks. I personally have a hard time recommending sets with such a high price tag that I personally haven't done, but it is highly revered, so this one will be fine. In my last video, I couldn't figure out if I should recommend this one or Barter, because actually I've been a lot closer to buying Barter than Rivendell. When there was the double points on the Lord of the Rings sets. So I kind of got stuck and then didn't make a decision, and I should have or should just include both because they look incredible. This one is also one you might need to get as a group gift, but I don't know. I don't know your situation. But one you wouldn't need to do as a group gift is definitely the gingerbread AT-AT. AT-AT. AT-AT feels a little better for me. Now, you didn't correct me on this one. I did mention it in my last video, but I do kind of have a new caveat, and I'm going to mention it again because if I didn't, you guys would be telling me that I forgot it. So the gingerbread AT-AT is $59.99 and 697 bricks. This is a fantastic set, and I think it's great for LEGO beginners or LEGO advanced builders, and it's a ton of fun. I'm not even particularly a Star Wars fan. It just was really good. I would highly recommend, and my one caveat I did not mention last time is giving it to them before Christmas. For me personally, once December 26th hits, I'm ready to pull down all my Christmas decor and what would still sit in my LEGO room. This is cool out in my living room. Speaking of sets that I mentioned already, we have the Game Boy. The Game Boy is $59.99 and has 421 pieces. I did mention this one again because if you didn't remember the first video, I feel like you would be like, why did you forget this one? I didn't. It's in both videos. But I do kind of have a little bit of a change with this one. The first time I mentioned it in the interest that would be good for it, I think I made it a little bit too niche because I've realized how exactly in demand this set is. So I think anybody who kind of grew up in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and like lightly would have played with video games. Anybody who had a Game Boy before, or really anyone who's just into the retro aesthetic will probably really like this set. But circling back to Star Wars, someone said that they wanted this set for Christmas. The Death Star at $999.99 and 9,023 pieces. I don't know if this is wishful thinking or if they actually think someone in their life is going to spend this much on a Christmas gift, but if they do, if that person also wouldn't mind sending me that, that'd be great. Obviously, I left this out of my video because of the price, because that's a little high for a Christmas gift. But at the same time, actually kind of thinking about it, iPhones are usually over $1,000. So like people do get those for Christmas. So like maybe. Outside of the gingerbread AT-AT, I saw a few other people mentioning Christmas sets, so I had a few that I wanted to recommend. I've done all of them except for the Home Alone house and then also the family Christmas tree. So I kind of have a really good grasp on this. First, we have the Alpine Lodge at $99.99 and 1,517 pieces. Right now, as of posting, this one is out of stock. This to me is by far the best set and easily is my favorite out of my whole Lego Christmas Village, and I've been collecting it for quite a few years now. I believe it is retiring soon, so it's one that I would highly recommend getting that person if they don't have a set already. The Lego Christmas tree at $44.99 that has 784 pieces. This is super customizable and pretty fun. You can change out the colors of the bulbs that you want, and also you can choose between the giant build or the two smaller trees. And if you're doing a Lego Christmas City, as well as I am, it would be fun to have some of the smaller trees scattered throughout. And finally, the Holiday Express train at $129.99 that has 956 pieces. I love this set. I just built it, and I think it has such broad appeal, and it's very, very fun. You don't need to necessarily have a Christmas City, and I think there's so many options of things you can do with it. My review video will be coming soon, but it's great. I love this next category so much that when somebody mentioned it, I can't believe I missed it. With the modulars, I will say buying a gift for somebody is going to require some investigation. The Boutique Hotel is $229.99 and has 3,066 pieces. And the Jazz Club is $229.99 and has 2,899 pieces. If they don't have either, pick one of these and do these. They are retiring very soon, and they can be a little tricky to get your hands on afterwards, so I'd highly recommend doing that. I try to figure out whatever they're buying for Insiders Weekend or Black Friday, and then kind of judge based off of that. Now, you could potentially get a second boutique hotel, and then they can do a double build. There's a whole instruction on how to do that, and I don't think anybody who's built the boutique hotel, if they were gifted a second set, wouldn't want to do the double build. If you don't want to do the double build thing, there are two other sets available from Lego directly. Tudor Corner at $229.99 and 3,266 pieces. And the Natural History Museum at $299.99 and has 4,014 pieces. Two questions for deciding. One, do they have one of these already? Two, are you comfortable with spending $300? Because that one's going to retire first. If they have both of those, and the Jazz Club and the Boutique Hotel, and you don't want to give them one for a second build, or they've already done the second build, I'd highly recommend going secondhand and getting the Parisian restaurant. It currently is valued at $377. You should be able to find it for $400 or less, so it might be a tad expensive, but that is always an option. And if all else fails, you could get them some minifigures off of Bricklink that match their whole aesthetic for their modular city. Kind of similar to the modulars, but not to minifigure scale, we have the architecture sets. My top pick is the Trevi Fountain at $159.99 with 1,880 pieces. I do think this set is pretty incredible. It came out pretty recently, and it's the first architecture set to use minifigures. This set is really beloved, and it's pretty much guaranteed that they'll like it. It gets a great reaction online, and honestly, it gets a great reaction in person. When people see my Lego room, I've noticed they just kind of instantly are drawn to the set. It looks honestly even better in person than it does in the photos, which the photos photos make it look stunning, so that says a lot. My other pick would be the Notre Dame at $229.99 and 4,383 pieces. This is expensive, but it does have a crazy value. The price per brick is insane, okay? It is a must for the architecture fan, including me. I personally haven't built this set, but I have seen a lot of online reviews. It's one that I want very, very badly. I have heard that some parts of it are a little bit repetitive, but overall, people really, really enjoy it. I'm going to put this in as an honorable mention because it was brought up enough. The Neuschwanstein Castle at $279.99 and 3,455 pieces. Look, I know I said that wrong. I've personally done it and I loved it. There is kind of a window thing with this. It's a little odd, and if you don't mind it, you'll love the set. But if somebody does mind it, they'll hate it. So it's kind of a little bit of a spicy one, but it got brought up enough for me to include it. The art category is one that I did not mention, but I absolutely messed up by not doing so. I've done all these besides the tiger, and I can say that they're all great, and I probably would really love that one too. Instead of me picking my favorite, I'm gonna give you some questions to help you narrow down which one to get. I do have a whole video comparing them in case you want more details, but we're gonna keep this snappy. Okay, ready? These questions are kind of like flowed, by the way, so you'll know like eliminate or like from what's left. Okay, would they want a standing art piece or something that's wall mounted? If they want a standing art piece, there's a Keith Haring, which would be great if they're into 80s or 90s style art. If not, then go with the Lego Love. Do you think that they'd want an art piece that's more flat or with more dimension? If they'd want something with more dimension, go with the Milky Way. If not, keep asking questions. Are they into Japanese culture? If so, Hokusai Great Wave is a great pick. It's right there. It's great. If not, then that kind of just leaves you with these two, which I will say, are they more into fine art or into florals? Because that fine art, you're going to go Mona Lisa. Florals, you're going to go sunflowers. Now, I know sunflowers is like fine art, but I think Mona Lisa definitely is quicker recognized as fine art, and this one, people look at it and they're like, oh, it looks familiar. As far as the discounts that might kind of be changing this, next weekend is Lego Insiders Weekend, which will be lasting from the 22nd to the 23rd. We don't officially have an announcement yet on Black Friday deals, but we do have an announcement on this, which I mentioned at the beginning of this video, happened right before I sat down to film. So first of all, across the board, there will be 2x points, except for on these sets, we'll have 4x points. The River Steamboat, Shuttle Carrier Aircraft, Willy Wonka Chocolate Factory, Lilo and Stitch Beach House, Pretty Pink Flower Bouquet, Flower Arrangement, Love Art Sign, and the City Train Station. And then we have the following sets at 20% off. Lion Knight's Castle, Disney Castle, Boutique Hotel, Jazz Club, Gringotts Bank, Red Fox Animals, Upscaled Driver Minifigure, Moana Kakamora Barge, the City Tower, and Durr Burger Restaurant. As I mentioned earlier, the Boutique Hotel and the Jazz Club would make great gifts, but all of these, honestly, I feel like you could just get any set for someone who's like truly into Lego and they'll be happy. We do have 2 sets that will be 25% off. It is the Batman, the animated series, Gotham City, you know, the kind of the wall art piece. And then we also have the Land Rover Classic Defender. Both of these will be retiring, so keep that in mind. I didn't mention them in this video, but they're great. And then we have 2 sets that will be 30% off, the Ninjago City Markets and the Coruscant Guard Gunship. I have such a hard time saying that. So if that affects anything for you, I would keep that in mind. I do want to say the best way to go about this is just to get somebody's wish list, because it can be a little hard, especially for like the big collectors, to know what they have and what they don't have. So a wish list is always going to point you in the right direction. However, if you don't, I think that this guide can kind of help you get there. Or maybe you're just building your own wish list off of this as I'm thinking about it. Maybe you're using these videos to build your own wish list, which honestly, not a bad idea. I do hope in the very least I was able to point you in the right direction. I hope with all these videos that I'm being helpful. So let me know if I was down below. I just want to say thank you so much for choosing to watch my video and watching it to this point, because it actually really does help me out. When videos get watched longer, it does help push it out in the algorithm. So I just want to say thanks for that, because it really does mean a lot. Also, thank you to channel members. And if you wouldn't mind tapping that like button, if you found this video helpful, that would be great. I know you've already done a ton for watching the video to this point, but that'd be helpful. And with that said, I will see you later. All right, bye.